everyone. Today I'm here dressed like an 18th century peasant to talk to you about my book buying habits. So I've always been a reader, as I stated in my first video, but obviously my parents were the ones that bought me books, or I would get some for my birthday and Christmas. So I always had like a very small, controlled library. As I got older, I started to buy some books for myself, but always like very small amounts, like 3 to 4 books a year, if even. And then in 2020, when I got my job, that was the first time in my life that I actually had some disposable income. And do you remember 2020? There wasn't much to do outside. So the way we spent our money was to order things online and get them. And I started doing it a lot with books. I was buying a lot of secondhand books from online platforms. So it wasn't a very expensive habit. And I was starting to read much more than I had in all the years before. So I was getting really excited. And I could spend my own money, and reading was my passion, so it only made sense that I would buy some books. I was also watching a lot of booktube, following a lot of pages on Bookstagram, and if you've been around here for a while, you know that people get really excited about new releases and new books and what is showing up on TikTok, and everyone is reading the same books all the time. So you want to be part of the conversation, like you hear these people talk so excitedly about a book that they love, and you want to be also talking about that book. You want to have it, you want to participate. So I started to buy a lot of books, much more than the ones I was actually reading. And that was fine. I think most people that enjoy reading are like that. I was buying also a lot of books that I wasn't really interested in, but everyone else was. And so I was just feeling a lot of FOMO, like maybe I'm wrong, maybe these books are great, and so I have to have them. But since I wasn't actually interested in them, I wouldn't read them, or at least not after a long time, and the hype was dead. And so it was just very silly, and I ended up selling a lot of books that I bought during that time. When the pandemic started to calm down a bit and we got to leave our house, I moved to Lisbon. And so in my hometown there isn't a bookshop. There's some small shops that also have books, but there isn't a designated bookshop. So when I was in Lisbon, I could just walk and go to a bookstore every day, like literally every day. And it's very hard to resist when you have that easy access to it. And so I kept buying more and more and more and more. And it started to be a little bit nerve-wracking. It really started to give me anxiety. I think that's also something that other people probably feel, and that's why I wanted to make this video so we can discuss it. Because I've also heard a lot of people that love books saying that it's totally fine to buy lots of books. Because when you want to read something, it's good to have your own library and you can go to it and access it. But what I'm questioning myself is, where's the threshold? Where does it start to be completely crazy? And where is it reasonable? And it's very hard to have an answer for that. And I've watched a lot of videos and a lot of tweets about it also, and it's just difficult. It's a difficult question to answer, because if I had financial freedom to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books, I probably would have, but it was starting to affect my my life, my expenses were too much on books, and if I wasn't reading them, I really couldn't justify that expense. So that's why I feel like for me it became a problem because I was spending much more than I could afford to. And so I decided to stop. And so since the beginning of the year, this year 2024, I haven't bought a single book for myself. The only books I bought were birthday presents or other gifts for friends, and I haven't bought a single book for myself. And it's hard sometimes. It's really hard. It gets easier. Now I certainly feel it's a lot easier than it was on the first month because I was just so used to it. And now I'm better at like controlling. I also moved out of Lisbon and I'm back in my hometown. So it's much easier because I don't have easy access to books and I don't feel that need to just go and buy something. So you may be thinking to yourself, okay, you're saying you have a problem, but I'm looking at your bookshelf behind you and it looks pretty fine. Like there's some space there, they all look organized, there's not double stacking. So maybe you're being a little too dramatic about this. And what I have to say is, well, that's the shelf of the rare books. Well, hello from the other side. This is my shelf of unread books. As you can see, there's a lot of them. So, what am I gonna do about it? The logical decision would be to just go through all my books, decide which ones I actually want to read, the ones that I don't, and the ones that I don't, I would get rid of them, either selling, donating, anything. However, I'm too attached and I just feel like maybe a book that I don't know is gonna be my favorite of all time, and it's sitting right here and I can't possibly get rid of it before giving it a chance. So, this is a lot, and I want to try to read them all eventually. I know this sounds a bit insane, but that's what I want to do. One question is, am I reading at a pace that this is a feasible accomplishment? And the answer is no. At least not yet. I want to pick up my pace. And one of the reasons that I started this channel was to help me go through this. And I don't mean just in making me read more, but also just feeling more satisfied with my reading and feeling happier about it, having somewhere to discuss it, and that will lead me to reading more and probably faster. So I hope to make on this channel a lot of reading challenges that will feature books from these shelves. So there's some ideas that I have, but they would involve me getting new books or at least get them from the library, which would not be a problem. I've been reading books that I get from the library, but since I want to have a more manageable TBR pile, I want to focus on these books. So I think the channel moving forward will be focused a lot on what is happening here. This is terrible, and I know it seems stupid that I have more unread books and I put them on the smaller shelf, but I think the chaos is a motivation for me, and that doesn't have to make sense to you. It makes sense to me, at least a little. And I hope you follow me on this journey. I want to catch up with you all by the end of the year and see where we are on this. if it's significantly better, just a little bit better, just the same. And so I hope you follow me on this journey and we go through it together. And if you see some book here that you think I would love or that you have read and loved, let me know, because that also motivates me so much. I have on my shelf Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut, and I had that book for 3 years, and I just wouldn't pick it up. And I posted a photo on Instagram, and someone there said, Vonnegut, you should read it. And I did, and now I give it 5 stars. So if you can help me, do it. Motivate me, give me your elevator pitches, and I hope to see you on a Really Challenge very soon. And I also want to know your opinions on book buying. Is it wasteful? Are we just falling in the traps of capitalism? Is it good? Is it not? What do you think about it? I'm really interested in having this conversation to see also if I'm not alone in this. That would be great, and to just have new perspectives on this topic. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!